What's going on YouTube? We're here back at it. On this 2021, we're gonna push forward, we're gonna do this together, and let's make this happen, a better positive year. Let's do this. We're about to do a fade, man bun. We're not trying to touch the top. Neither wanted to trim it down, so we're about to divide the hair with some duck clips all the way around. So the first step is going to be brushing down the hair. Then we're going to be using our T-outliners just to create our first bald line. You can use any trimmer. There's no preference. It's up to you. It doesn't have to be the same one that I got. If you got something else, you can use it as well. So we're here trying to do the first bald line that contours according to his head shape. Try to make it as neat as possible. On the other side, I did notice I did a mistake. You guys will see it in a few, but always create that neat line. The neater the line are on every guideline that you do, the more consistent you can be. And you guys will see what I mean right here. You can see it's rounded, and out of nowhere I messed it up on that corner, but it didn't bother me at all. So I managed to do everything however I could, but it still came out pretty dope. You will see. So our next step is going to be using our foil shavers. I'm using my Annis foil shavers. Just a reminder, when you use them, make sure it's not coarse hair, because if not, then it can create razor bump, and you don't want that going on to your client. Also, the tip is going to be for this is make sure you don't go where the bald line is. Just try to leave at least a 1/4 inch, so that way later on, if you don't have your trimmer zero gap, you'll be able to knock out that line later on. So now we're going with our Gamma Alpha clippers. Going no guard open. We're going at least around the C cup, 1/2 inch, and then open it up a little bit wider of the blend, going to the back towards the occipital bone. And then we're doing that all the way around. But for this one, I'm just leaving it in the middle, so that way later on I can use it as a travel guide. Now we're going halfway. Just make sure you flick out. If you're not experienced enough, just make sure you flick out, use your corners. So now we're going with our number 1 open, 1/2 inch where the C cup is, and then we're going to make the blend wider as we go back. Now we're gonna use our half guard. Personally myself, I only go halfway and close. Just flick out where the bottom line is. Make sure you just don't go too high. Then later on we're gonna close it up, and it should knock out that bottom line. Just a reminder, every time that you use your number 1 close, it's just to soften up that bottom line, which is created with that 0 open or no guard open. The one who's gonna knock it out is gonna be that half guard. 1.5. I went close because I wasn't sure what to do, and then right there, as you guys can see, right in the moment, I switched it up to open just to go all the way to the top, and then I go back again, close it just to make sure everything is even out, pass it a couple times. Then after that, I go down with my number 1, open, close it up little by little just to knock it out. As you guys can see, just make sure you go back and detail your work. Just make sure you don't detail it so much and then your blend just comes higher than the other side. So you just want to be careful and be cautious about that. But just detail it as much as you can until you see it that it came out perfect. Just make sure you get that habit of becoming that perfectionist. Every client see that every time they're sitting down on your chair, they see that you're paying attention to every single detail. So that's where tips comes in, because you're paying attention to their haircut. So make sure you detail, make sure you take care of them properly. As for the beard, we're going with our number 3, open all the way around, but I'm showing you the one side first and then we go to the other side. The same step we did to do our fade, the same thing we're doing with our beard. However, instead of blending up and down, it's gonna be down and up. So we use our 0, no guard, open, halfway and close it. After that, we go with our number 1, open it and then close it up. Then we go with our half guard, halfway, then close it up. Next step is the one that we're doing right now. It's our number 2, open, just to blend everything in, close it up, 1.5, open, as you guys can see right here, open, then close it up. Then the rest is gonna be detail work. Now we're using our Babyliss FX silvers. You start it off from the middle to your one side, middle to your other side. Just make sure you don't push them back. Try to be as natural as possible. As for the C cup goes, just try to meet the highest point that they got, drawing out the hair, and use the corner of your blade and your wrist just to get that mobility to create that C cup. As for the beard, try to match it up with your sideburn or your C cup just to make sure everything is even out and you can get that Chicago C all the way around. Now we're using our enhancement. We're using 1-on-1 diluted Kiss Express and alcohol. Just make sure you don't use a lot of it. Just remember, it's only for a few days or maybe for that same day, so that way they can look nice. Just to enhance the haircut, and that way they look better. Now we're going with our straight razor. Just make sure you stretch the skin, and going with a 45-degree angle, so that way you don't irritate the skin. As you guys can see, the haircut is coming along. If the video has been grateful, subscribe, smash that like button, and ring that bell notification. But as you guys can see, it's coming along. So now we're using the back part that we left as a traveling guide to go to your other side. So now we're going with our no guard open, continuing the same guideline. Then we're going halfway on that bottom line to soften it up. Then we close it up to knock it out. So remember, if it doesn't come out, use your trimmer, use your corner of your blade. You will see later on in the video, I will use it just to take out that shaver part, that line that it left, to knock it out. Now we're going with our number one, same procedures, that same guy that I left in the back. We're gonna go to your other side, stretching this blend as much as we can, going forward to the C-cup, closing it down. Then we close it up as much as we can, patch a couple times so that we can get that even cut. Just a reminder, every time that you use your one close, it's just to soften up that bottom line. The one who's going to be knocking it out is going to be that half guard. We go halfway and close it up as we go along. Just make sure you flick out and you don't pass that line. Just flick to the line. Also, if it doesn't go away, you can go back to your no guard open and just pass through it just to double check everything out. As you can see right there, I did it. Just to double check my work, you can go ahead and open it up halfway and close it. Just remember, everything's about level work. Now we're going with our 1.5 open all the way to the top, and then we're going to be closing it up. And since we know that the line is still there, just soften it up only with where the 1.5 is, or the 1 open. Then we're going to go back to it with our 1 open and detail everything downwards. Just like I said, detail work is the main key about everything, just to double check your work. Make sure you can pass it a couple times. Just remember, have on your head a little sketch of what you did when everything's almost blended out. Have a sketch of your guidelines that you did on every single guard, so that way you don't forget which guard you used. again, we're going with our number 3.5 open. Just make sure you pass a couple times in different direction. Since some people growth pattern are not the same, just make sure you pass a couple times. Now we're going with our number 0 open, no guard, open, halfway, close it up. And with our number 1 open, close it up, half guard, we're going halfway, close it up. Our number 2 open, close it up. And after that, it's going to be your last card is going to be your 1.5 open, then close, then the rest is going to be detail work. Just a reminder, same step you did on your fading, it's the same thing on the beard. The only thing is it's just opposite. What I mean by opposite is instead of being up and down blending, it's going to be opposite, which is down and up. Now we're going with our FX once again, starting from the middle to your one side, middle to your other side. Just make sure you don't push them back unless the client wants it that way. It's just part of client consultation. Other than that, try to keep it as natural as possible. Always use your corner of the blade every time that you do that C cup. Always keep that in mind. Everything is about wrist work. Once again, going back with our enhancement, 1-on-1, Kiss Express. Just make sure you don't put too much of it. Try to keep it as natural as possible. When it comes to enhancement, you don't want to put a lot of it. You just want a little bit, so that way it looks natural. You don't want it to look fake. Reminder, always use your straight razor in a 45-degree angle and always stretch that skin. And like I always say, that's a grateful tip. Always look at your client in different angles so that way you can see the darker area that you can retouch again and detail it. Now we're doing the same step we did on the side, we're doing it on the back. So now we're going halfway and close since the no guard open was already there. So now we're going halfway and close. Just make sure you flick out, stretch that blend as much as you can just to prevent that line that everybody leaves and struggle with. Everybody be asking me the same question. The only thing I can say is just stretch that blend as much as you can. You should corner and always detail your work. Everything here is just about being consistent, practice, and trust on your fading system, and try to detail as much as you can. And as you guys can see right there, it came along. And this is the part I was talking about, where the shaver part, it leaves that line right there, a harsh line. Just make sure that you do it soft when using those shavers, so that way you don't have to struggle with it and going back with your trimmer. So make sure you use the corner. Well, YouTube, this is the cut. I really hope you guys like it. Please subscribe, smash that like button, share with your friend and family as well. Hopefully this has been a great help for you guys. If you guys need any content, just comment down below. Till next time.